Look at all this. This is the first time I've went live for those who are just randomly joining. I've never went live before. So we don't really know what's going to go on, but there's going to be plenty of whiskey to drink. It's not a normal setup either, so it's all new. So it is. I will give a few more people a few more minutes just to log on. Again, if this is your first time joining live or even a Whiskey for Breakfast live, welcome, welcome. It's lovely to see you. You all look lovely out there. This is all new to me, but you know what? There's whiskey, so that'll do the job. I'll give it a few minutes. There's a few more people just logging in now, and then we will get cracking as we go through. If there's any issues with the sound or how I look, just let me know. So who have we got in? Because the more active we are in the comments, the more I can engage, the more it's like a conversation, right? It's not as fun if it's just me talking to you or at you. It's a bit like being back at school. Far better looking teacher, of course, and probably more whiskey. So so let me know who we have here. We've got Sean. Sean, how are you doing, mate? How's the coffee keeping today? You've actually drank today's whiskey. You sent me a photo of that. You drank it yesterday. I think you're having a rough old day, so you decided to pop it open soon, or sooner than you should. What did you think? Maybe you're not there anymore, but what did you think of the first one? Huh? Did you like it? Lovely. Well, without further ado, I reckon we will just get cracking on, because many people maybe will watch this after. We have a handful online already. So let's go with it. Oh, there's Sean there. All good, boss. She was tasty, very peaty. Some nice vanilla notes there too. Oh, I like it. Straight in there. Good taste notes. Hopefully you didn't scroll to the end of the page and cheat. I reckon you have a good enough palate to know all of that on your own. But yeah, for the last few who just joined there in the past 60 seconds or so, feel free to drop comments if you enjoyed the whiskey, didn't enjoy it, what your taste notes were, and all of that. So without further ado, the first whiskey of the Whiskey for Breakfast Advent is called the Midnight Silkie. It's a really cool looking bottle. There's not a huge amount left in this one, but you can just see it there. You all get it? You got that. Very nice label. You've got a gold image of like the Silkie there. And then you got some information. It's like a big long bottle as well, which is cool. A wee bit of history there at the back. And the number one, my wife, incredible woman that she is, helped me fill everyone's bottles. There was like just nearly 600 bottles to be filled. And weirdly, one little number on the back of each bottle helped so much. So yeah, thanks to Frankie for that, and thanks to all of you for getting involved. Peter, very enjoyable. Oh well, that's good, mate. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Had you tried it before, Peter? Like, is this a new whiskey for you? Because variety is the spice of life, right? It's always fun to try something new. Just a wee bit now about this whiskey itself, the Midnight Silkie. That's just a name, right? A Silkie is said to be a half person, half seal. Typically in Irish mythology, it's a woman, usually with black hair, white skin, and that's an unbelievable singer. And when they enter the water, they turn into a seal. Like arr, 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 arr. Fun fact about a seal: Ronan, my name is Misha Ronan, means baby seal in Irish. Yeah, so I'm like a baby seal. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. It's just a thing, really. So yeah, well, I am welcome, Frankie. Yes, thank you. But this is based off that whole mythology series. There is a few in the Silkie range, and you've even got a Donegal Silkie. There's a great animation called Song of the Sea, and that's about a Silkie. So if you haven't seen that, Song of the Sea, it's a great one to watch. Underneath, it says Irish whiskey. Now, for those who watch many of my videos, and by the end of this 26 weeks or 26 days, you'll be sick of me hearing what is an Irish whiskey. Now, you legally have to follow some laws to be an Irish whiskey. You can't just like start distilling and then throw it out into a wee bottle. It does have to be made on the island of Ireland and the corresponding islands that are associated with Ireland. So I think like Clare Island, Achill Island, etc. Um, it doesn't matter about political boundaries. It can be made in the north of the country and it's still called Irish whiskey. Now, it does have to be bottled at least 40% ABV or 80 proof. This one comes in at 46%. So this is a few percentage above that 46%. And when it comes to ABV or alcohol by volume in a bottle, it's actually like pretty straightforward. If you think that this bottle is 46, so 46% of this bottle is alcohol, and then the rest of it is essentially water. So in theory, there's more water in this bottle than alcohol. It's not totally how it works, but that's how proof kind of an ABV. It's the volume of pure alcohol in your bottle. So it is. So if you ever have someone who's like, "Oh, I can drink and not get drunk," it's like you can't, right? You're actually adding more volume of alcohol to your body. It's impossible, right? Um, yes, Tag does love seals. Yes, Jeff, very, very astute of you there, Jeff. We all know that Tag does love seals. He swims like a seal as well. And Peter, yes, Farran's in Malin Head here. That's a great spot. It is a fantastic spot. Frankie, who is online now, we have spent a few nights in Farran's and Malin Head. I've actually been there a couple of times. The first time I was there, I was cycling from Malin to Mizzen back in my exercise days. So great pub. If anyone hasn't been to Farran's in Malin Head, go. It's class. It's brilliant. I think Star Wars was filmed there. There's a big Yoda on the side. It's definitely worth going up there. I think you can see the Northern Lights there during the summer as well. If you can, like, if you don't mind getting bit by all the wee flies. Yeah. Also, a myth about Irish whiskey. It says here whiskey. Whiskey. I have it there. Whiskey for breakfast. You don't actually have to have the E in Irish whiskey. Okay, you can use it without the E as well. Legally in Scotch, you have to not include the E, right? So there's no E in Scotch whiskey, but in Irish we can use or not use the E, right? We can also call it Ishkabaha. So we're allowed to call it Irish whiskey in Irish Gaelic, which is quite cool. Load of other things about Irish whiskey, but look, I'm not going to bore you with all the technical mumbo jumbo tonight. Then it says product of Ireland. Doesn't really mean anything except that it's made here, but it told us that already because it's Irish whiskey. And this whiskey, right? It says our smoothest blend. I'll be the judge of that. We'll be the judge of that, actually. Smoothest blend of single malts featured in virgin oak and imperial stout, created to be savoured over the midnight watch. Right. Sure, we'll let that wee bit of marketing slide by just at the end. But this is a blend of single malts, which is quite interesting. And then it's finished off in virgin oak and imperial stout. Now, if I was reading that without having tasted it straight off, single malts typically give you like a really biscuity backbone. That means that this is made from 100% malted barley. And then that has been aged in virgin oak cask. Now, this is a blend of single malts, so this is different single malts coming together. And it's been finished off in that virgin oak. Now, virgin oak is typically quite raw. It's quite peppery. So maybe on the tip of the tongue, you can get like a freshness or a brightness from this. Again, haven't tried it in a while. We'll go through that. And then the Imperial Stout. Imperial Stout is like a heavy, high ABV beer. It's usually thick and viscous. So maybe that will add some sort of like deep molassesy notes to it. Then on the back, Selkies are off the coast of Donegal. They're shapeshifters. They shed there's a lot of S's here for me. The Selkies of Donegal coast are mythical shapeshifters who shed their sealskin coats and become irresistibly enchanting sea maidens with long dark hair, deep soulful eyes, and beautiful voices. Sure, look, I couldn't have said it better myself. I did, but I couldn't have. Right. Also on this label, it says this is smoky. So anyone who thought that this whiskey was smoky, you are correct. This was a peated or a smoky whiskey. I'm going to also demystify or demythify the peated whiskey phenomenon. No, it does not have to be made by somebody called Pete. Also on this bottle, it says non-chill filtered. Now, non-chill filtration or non-chill filtering means that they have left all of the fatty chain acids through the distillation process and they've left them in the bottle. Why you would take those out? So usually around 40% ABV. If you left, or if it says non-chill filtered and it's 40%, and you got that bottle really, really cold, it would start to have these fatty chain acids come out of solution. And essentially, it would look like somebody sneezed into your bottle. Like, it's not a good look. Like, if you looked at it, it would look like these goblets are just floating up and down through the liquid. So, a lot of people will chill filter. That means that they bring these huge vats of whiskey down to about minus 20 degrees Celsius. All the fatty chain acids go to the top. Then they just go scrape them all off. And then, like, that's it. All the fatty acids are off. Whiskey with Lee's here. How are you doing? Whiskey with Lee. Whiskey with Lee's a great fella. He dropped off your package at the back of a hospital. It was like something out of Blue Lights. It seemed very dodgy, but it was cool. Anyone who doesn't know Whiskey with Lee, great fella, does tastings down in Moira, and does them monthly. I think he's just finished for the year, but if you're ever around Moira and you fancy we drop a whiskey, call in with him. And I must admit, Lee, you do it at such a good price, it's hard to compete with that. So fair play. So it's great to have you along. So that's non-chill filtration. Lovely, lovely. I don't really think there's much else to say about this except popping it up. Actually, sorry, the brand, the Silkie, there's no distillery called the Silkie. This is actually from a brand from the Ardra distillery, which is up in Sliabh Liag in County Donegal. Sliabh Liag, the huge big cliffs. So they've actually got a distillery, right? They have just released their own stuff called Ardra. That's distilled in Donegal. That's awesome. This isn't distilled in Donegal. It doesn't actually tell us where it's distilled. Don't love that. But, it says product of Ireland and it says where it was bottled. But, I'm assuming this is Great Northern Distillery liquid. Don't know. But the brand behind this is called Ardra or Sliabh Liag Distillery. And they have just come out with their first 2 bottles. They're still out there and they're not actually expensive. So for the first ever bottle of the new world of Irish whiskey made from Donegal, check out Ardra. Right, anyway, let's get tasting. I can't really rate that pop because this bottle's been open, but sure, we'll give it a go. I wonder, can we hear this? Nah, shade. Anyway, let's go. Lovely, lovely. And cheers for anyone who picked up a whiskey for breakfast glass as well. Sorry to those who broke in the post. I think it was all of the glasses that got sent down south. Obviously, I posted them from up here, so I reckon some of the lads just drop kicked them over the border to you, because I did wrap them up pretty safe. But yeah, I got these glasses a couple of months ago actually, and I forgot about them, to be honest. They're from Glencairn. Cool little. Can you see that? Cool little wee logo just etched into it there. So it's the perfect glass for drinking whiskey, really. Perfect Christmas present, stocking filler, folks. All right, tell you, limited edition. This stuff you almost can't buy, but you can for a low price. Anyway, I don't actually have a price for these. £9.50, £10, whatever you fancy. Great glasses, highly recommend. Guramagat, Sean. Anyway, oh yes, on the nose, I get actually some nice smoke, a little bit of like orangey peat coming off that. Maybe if anyone's trying this now, chime in, give me some of your aroma or taste notes. Wee bit of honey there as well. It's quite light, like it is peated, but it's quite lightly peated. It's nothing too offensive. It's nothing too big and bold. Can I put that there so you can all can see it? Look at that. That is production value. Just put you between George Best and Michael Jordan. Yeah, we touch a citrus as well. Now, when it actually comes to tasting whiskey, sometimes people ask me this, and for those who are going to be going along for the next week or two, um, it's not wine, right? Swirling like that can be it can agitate the ethanol that's in the glass, and that can end up sitting around here. So when you go and smell, you can actually get hit by like that ethanol kick. So you're actually not getting the aromas or the congeners. Congeners is what we talk about when we're talking about flavors and aromas that are locked into the liquid of whiskey. So sometimes you want to agitate it slightly, but you want to make sure it's nice, like at room temperature, depending on how you drink it. But kind of want to put your nose in a wee bit, maybe your mouth open. It's almost like leaving a draft. Having the back door open and leaving a draft so the air can come through and the aroma can just go through. All that, just like that, and then let's give it a wee taste now. Um, it's going to be a long month of enjoying some wonderful whiskey. Maybe leave a wee bit in your sample if you have not drank it all already. And then each day you can go back and compare and see this wonderful world of whiskies just evolve in front of you. But yeah, let's give it a wee sip. Sláinte, sorry, sláinte, sláinte. Merry Christmas as well. Tis this season after all. Merry Christmas. Nálag Hana, Nálag Hana, Nálag Hana Ditch. Okay, yeah. So the tip of the tongue perceives sweetness on most people's palate, right? So what straight away I get is that prickle of that black white pepper, but there's a wee hint of vanilla, like very, very spicy vanilla, just clashes on the tip of the tongue. Then that white black pepper kind of like start to roll across the tongue. Wee bit of that biscuity malt coming through, grand. Maybe a wee bit of like toffee is coming in, like toasted oak maybe in there as well. But for a first sip, and that was the first time I've tried this in a while, the smoke is the top note, right? But it's quite thin. It's not like it doesn't fill my molars. It just slides over the tongue and lets those other flavors kind of come in and play about a wee bit. Um, Lee, you're using the glass. Good mate, good man, good man. Getting a bit of pepper and marzipan. Yeah, yeah. A weird combination, but pepper and marzipan sound great. Was it red pepper or green pepper? Yeah, you enjoy it, Pete. That's good, mate. That's good. The maybe a wee bit of ginger's now coming off the nose. Mm. On the second sip, it does start to reveal a few more flavors. And do you know what? That's not a surprise because when you're tasting, your tongue wasn't. This might be a shock to people, but your tongue, which is where all the flavor receptors are kept, wasn't built to be tasting 46% alcohol. So if you ever remember back in the day, if you ever took a shot of tequila or sambuca or aftershock or whatever, and you were like, oh, you felt it come out your nose or anything like this, that's just the ethanol looking to evaporate because your mouth is like, nope. And it's like, so after two or three sips, your tongue starts to realize that this is its life now. It needs to start to enjoy and drink whiskey. So it will start to slowly open up and actually allow some of those receptors and flavors to kind of seep in a wee bit more. It's usually why, if you're a bit of a baller brand and you have very expensive whiskeys in a lineup, the end is usually the most expensive. Subconsciously, you save the best for last, but physiologically, it's a smarter way to do it because by that stage, well, there's a couple of reasons as well. By that stage, you're more drunk, right? But by that stage, your tongue is more accustomed. Your nose is starting to be finely tuned into what smells and tastes good along the lineup. The first one, sadly, could be thrown under the bus. But if you always leave a little bit in your glass as a taste and you go back and forth, you'll start to notice all these nuances. I know big Sean McDonald, he does that with coffee as well. He goes back and forth and he can precisely pinpoint the seconds for a great cup of coffee. That's mad. Um, but the second or third sip will allow for your tongue just to settle in. So I would always say never just push a whiskey off because of the first sip. But I'll give it a third sip. Hmm. Okay. It is actually nice and sweet. That first sip. The smoke doesn't really come until kind of midway through. Um, Maybe there's a wee bit of heaviness from that stout, the stout smoke sort of element, but it's not super stouty or super sweet. Um, it definitely the smoke does add a prickle to it overall. The malt comes in really nicely along the sides. It's probably not, in my opinion, the most balanced blend of single malts in the world. However, it's still a brilliant glass. Um, it's probably a medium-ish finish on this one. Nice little bit of smoke at the end. It's definitely a good whiskey for those who don't like peated whiskey, but maybe want to get into it. It's a gateway peated whiskey, because it doesn't like kick you in the face with peat, but it just whispers with a little bit of smoke, you know. And there's a nice wee warm lingering spice there as well. Yeah, not a bad one to start off with, right? It was very hard to choose which one to start and which one to end with. But what do you all think? There's still a good few of us online. Haven't tried much, Peter, but definitely a nice dram. I agree, Lee. I agree. I think it's nice. Um, Roland, good to see you, mate. Um, Rowan, you were checking up me there, making sure I got your pack out to you. Okay. Not a fan of peated whiskey, but this is pretty nice. I agree. I actually think it is quite nice. I like the bottle. There is more of a silky range as well, and it was kind of a bit of a prelude to what the Ardra distillery were going to do. I've tried some of their smoked oat whiskey, which is technically not in the Irish technical file yet, but it was unbelievable. It was like eating or drinking like a toasted marshmallow, right? But no, I do like it. I think it's nice. I think it's a great one. And I think this could be really good in like a peated or a bonfire hot toddy, right? Add not too much smoke, but just a wee lick of fire in there just to, warm the cockles. So yeah, that is that, folks. I'll open the floor to anyone who has any questions or any comments. Throw it in. My plan each night is to do 15, 30 minutes, depending on how we're all getting on. I'm just trying to create a wee online whiskey community. Um, because I always remember hearing as a child, the best way to spread Christmas cheer is drinking whiskey, not beer. So I just want to carry this on as an adult. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, one of many. There are a few dates, sadly, I can't do along the way, which you've seen on the website. But I'm going to try to link as many videos in where I can along the way. And there's some unbelievable whiskies. If you haven't looked at the list, don't. Trust me, don't do it. Save yourself the excitement of just trying a new whiskey each night. Let your nostrils, let your palate guide you. Don't let brands let your discovery of what you like or dislike influence you. So that's the crack. Well, anyway, I'm gonna finish this up. The sound seemed to be okay. The lighting seemed to be okay. It's not the normal setup, so this is a bit new for me today. Like I said, this is my first ever live. So, if anything, we are the vanguard, right? We are just paving way for the rest of those, to come behind us. Um, Sean, would be good to hear how you would score it 1 to 10 each night, just for us new to whiskey. Right, okay. So, for those who like read my website, I score whiskies not in a number typically, but usually like, throw it down the drain or open it at a party or leave it in the will, right? But yeah, I think for this one, yeah, for a reference to quality of each class, yeah, I think that's fair. I will caveat all of the scoring with None of it's brand bashing. And I genuinely believe that a brand, a distiller, a bottler, for example, are always trying to put the best that they can for that reason into a glass, because some whiskey is better in a cocktail, and that was what it was made for, and some is better as, like, Christmas Eve wedding whiskey sort of thing, right? Some of it wasn't made like this, some of it was made to be mixed with Coke or ginger ale, right? But yeah, right. So out of 10, what would I rate this whiskey? So it's a blend of single malt, so I don't fully get where that element comes in. There's not enough information on the bottle for me to understand that. So I do think that scoring of quality of whiskey and brand has to kind of be looked at simultaneously. I like the nose. I don't think it's super peaty. I actually like that there's orange, a wee bit of vanilla on the nose. Like, that's really nice, and it contrasts that bit of smoke. Some smoky whiskies are like these big peat bombs, and they blow the nostril hairs clean off you. You know. I I think where this one will lose most marks for me is its mouthfeel. It's very thin at the front. It's still 46%. I would hope that it would kind of grip a little bit more, but sometimes peated whiskies do typically come in a little thinner, in my experience. Um, yeah, it's very light on the palate. Now, that's the fourth sip I've had. I would probably put this 6 out of 10. Yeah, it's good. I would happily drink this. This is probably bring it to a party, throw it into a hot toddy, drink it with a few people. Like, no one's going to hate on this whiskey unless they really hate Pete, but no one's going to really hate on this whiskey. But I don't get enough of what I want out of it. I don't get enough of that stout cask. I don't get enough of that malt element. The 46%, I feel, is just hot on the tongue instead of carrying flavor. Alcohol can carry flavor. The right amount of alcohol, much like cooking, the right amount of salt, sugar, fat, acid carries flavor. And I feel like they were on the cusp of maybe washing it out a wee bit. Again, I wasn't in the room, but yeah, let's go 6 out of 10 for that one. Happy to be challenged on that, if anyone thinks it's better or worse. But yeah, so five and a half, 5.5, 6 is kind of where I'm going with that one. You know, sorry if somebody thought that was even better. All about the balance, Lee. I totally agree, mate. This is still really well put together. It's very quality, but like, there's no fault in this. I'm lucky enough to have qualified distiller, and when we're distilling, we talk about fractions and faults, and there's certain fractions and faults that can leave imperfections in the final liquid, and there's none of that in this, right? There really isn't. But there are certain brands and there are certain distillers and blenders who literally can balance a whole bottle on a knife edge, and it is perfect. And hopefully over the next 26 days we will be going over those. But yeah, it is all about balance. It's a bit like life, burpees in the morning, bourbon in the evening. We don't actually have a bourbon in this lineup, sadly. Sorry about that. Spoil it. We do have an American whiskey though. Fun fact. It's a very strange one. But yeah, class, great. Thought out information, much appreciated. No worries, Sean. I appreciate your interaction, and it's lovely to hear from you. But yeah, without further ado, we're just coming in under the 30-minute mark. So thanks all for getting involved. Thanks for those who are watching. Maybe you didn't get an Advent calendar this year. There's always next year. But for those who did, much appreciated. A lot of hard work has went into this. Not just myself, my wonderful wife, and other people I've been working with for the past 3 weeks. Have had to put up with me talking about it. So I really hope you enjoy it. It'll be super fun. Get involved. Get as many people online as you want. Drink the whiskey. Share the whiskeys. Love it. Hate it. Variety is the spice of life. So until next time, slán, sláinte, enjoy the rest of your evening, enjoy the rest of your whiskey, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Ichawai. Still whiskey, like, it can't be that bad, really. No, it's really good. I like it. I like it. Don't hate. Drink. No, it's good. I like it. Sláinte. Cheers, right? Where's this? End screen. I look like I should be better at tech. I'm not.